Music Masters.
Yeah, wherever we going, we meant to be. 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 Whatever's up next, we was meant to see. I know what's meant for me, meant for me. Me, I'm tapped into my energy. I was prepared for this mentally. Yeah. Wherever we going, we meant to be. Wherever we going, we meant to be. Wherever we going, we meant to be. Wherever we going, we meant to be.
A show, not a podcast. How important is that to you?
It's a production, bro. I think where we are in the world, we have way more power than we know. I think a lot of people, when they think about like speaking spaces, it's like, oh, well, I gotta go to YouTube and do a podcast. Well, I mean, why can't you have something similar to like what Oprah had or what Mari got or like whatever your space is? Like, I think it's just about using your network and not just being like, oh, well, I can only record myself in the bathroom. Like, you don't know who could believe in your story. So if you tell your story to enough people, you're gonna run into somebody who got a similar story to you. Like, that's just what it is. So yeah. At first when we did it, me and Trey sat down, we was like, oh, we're gonna do Build On Yourself podcast. And when I was pitching it to people, like I was reaching out to people and I was getting a response of, oh, well, I mean, it's a podcast, like what are y'all gonna talk about? And it was kind of negative responses. So no, bro, I want to have something that I can pass down. I want to have something that's scalable. And I feel like a production, that's scalable. Now you talking about like Warner Brothers, like you talking about that, you know, and that's where we trying to go. That's what we want to be. So that's why we created Faking Studios. Like still ain't got a studio, but we Faking Studios.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a whole different world for y'all. I'm much older than all of you. So the whole podcast thing and the new media stuff is weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm used to, we shoot it.
Yeah.
It's on NBC, ABC, CBS, Showtime, HBO, and that's what we do.
I feel like it's a real similar format to early morning radio shows. Like Randy Williams had on early morning shows. Like on podcasts, I just hear people talking without a script. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I get from it. I think that adding the video to it kind of separated from that, but I feel like it's still the same format.
It is. And it's nothing new when you really think about it, because you go back to television. Even before television, it was radio, and they used to do the radio shows.
Yeah.
People would gather around the radio and listen, and they'd be told stories like War of the Worlds, which was a big one. And then silent movies came out. So you had visual with no audio.
Radio
like
was
Charlie Chaplin and all that.
Yeah, then they just brought them together.
Radio was a staple, and we not too long away from seeing the extinction of radio. It's not many people that'll be able to thrive. People are not gonna listen to the music on the radio. People are not gonna go to the personalities, the early morning people they get the news from. You don't go to the radio for that.
Like you see Angela Yee already leaving. Like she leaving Breakfast Club. I think that shows you.
And make an interesting time for artists trying to figure out, you know, what their platform is.
Well, I don't think radio is gonna go away.
Yeah.
Because we drive, we're in cars. You know, we're in restaurants, we're in different places. So there's talk radio, which is bigger than ever right now, which in essence is like a podcast.
Right.
But you can't watch a
Right.
podcast while you drive. Well, you can
but
if you're coordinated like I am.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be watching stuff while you're driving. But no, as far as the music side, I agree.
Yeah, because we get in the car and it's like, what an aux at, what a Bluetooth at, and we're not even listening to the songs on the radio.
So how you feel about the music space? Is you in the music space? Like
we do a lot with music. We are involved in production the music. We have a small local label, and we also do shows. So like stage design, programming lights. That comes a lot with a lot of legalities. When you have production and you have 4 tons of production hanged above the crowd, that is like decently risky. So you need that's a big area that we're working on, that not really a lot of people see, because people see the promotion, see the music, and see the show, but we also do all the production behind it. But to be honest, in my industry, we didn't experience that much income from streams. I mean, the streaming income has been good, but not even comparable to selling a show, you know. And we like to use the music more as a tool to sell tickets to a show, much rather than using the music to make money straight out of it. It's pretty much kind of like a second or third source of income, but it's also good because it's a steady source of income. You know, once you produce a song, you do the original work, and then if you work with Tutecore, which I really like his sweater, then you get for a couple of years, you can get constant royalties out of it, you know, and you don't have to split with anybody than yourself, as long as you produce it.
Okay, help me understand.
Tell me,
something.
tell me.
Mr. DJ.
Tell me.
You said original works.
Correct.
Explain, because DJs use
other records.
Yeah.
Correct. So first two things that are different here is that I would like to call ourselves more artists, because we create a show, and then more than DJ, because even if you look at the biggest DJs in the world, is DJ Khaled and DJ Snake. Other than that, there's not that many DJs that are called DJs. It's Tiesto, is Armin van Buuren, or they have like straight names, Martin Garrix. So people recently this day try to give up the DJ and only have their brand name, Excision or Matroda. There's a lot of DJs, but they like to get out of the DJ name to call themselves artists. They call themselves artists because they also produce the music or edit the music they play. Now, the problem when it comes to being original, it's a very vague term, because there's always going to be someone more original than you. I was watching a documentary with Diplo, and they're always talking like, okay, you produce the beat, but you're using a drum. Who's playing that drum? Well, you're playing that drum, but you're playing the drum who's making the sticks that the drum made, because if you have different sticks, the drum is gonna sound different. So if you wanna go deep in the originality, you can go extremely deep to who cut the wood for the stick that's playing the drum. Now, what Diplo like to emphasize a lot is that it's all about what you do with the sound, not really how original it is. You know, I mean, when it comes to terms of legalities, that's a complete separate area on what is original based on copyright and what is not original on copyright.
So you turned me up on that one, because when you said when it go down to the sticks, if the person making the sticks, you still gotta have rhythm. You still gotta be able to play it in a certain way. But like, I guess like what you alluding to is like, if you playing like another person's song, half their job is done because they already put the vibe of the energy of the dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, but what changed a lot is that if we are looking at average or like any regular DJ, local DJ or national DJ, is not that much. I think the definition that you have as a DJ is not that much rewarding. Like, you have to do a lot more this day to be a successful DJ. You have to become an artist. If you're just a DJ, there's nothing going on for you.
It's a saturated market.
You know, there's a million DJ. Everybody can DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody can DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody got an ops cord now.
Today.
Because it's okay.
Yeah.
DJ to me is DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
Turntables, records.
Yeah.
And he's matching up these things. He doesn't have everything computer generated and it's set in a place where you're just going ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, and then which is timing and all that. So that's my thing, what we were talking about earlier. To begin with.
Correct.
And I'm wondering how but I get what you're saying as far as the DJing is not so much it's not about the DJing more than it is about using the music to create an ambiance, a show, a performance.
A performance, yeah.
And
You're creating the experience versus just like the music part.
Yeah, and it even get crazier because it feels like it's going into the direction where it's extremely important the performance because it generates more income these days with the way the music industry is structured. So if you make great music, obviously you're gonna make a good amount of income, but if you manage to match it with a great performance, then you take it to a complete other level, you know?
So how much time you spending like preparing for a performance like that?
Depends. Depends on the scale of it. So we had this, I really like the name Bet on Yourself because I really find myself into it. Especially how you started podcasting and you said that like some other people will have the same story. I really feel that because we started this Halloween party. We never did a show at this scale. And we literally bet everything that we had and stuff that we didn't have because we told certain people that we're gonna pay after the show, hoping that the show will not have a huge loss. We're not break even was a dream when we started this show, but we really betted everything on ourselves because we wanted to push the performance and the production to a different level, you know. So for the Halloween show that we had, we prepared 4 months for a show, and then
what does that preparation
Dang,
what does that preparation look like? Like what is
that? It's really a lot going on. Like it starts from locking in a deal with the venue. That's the first thing, and then locking in a deal with an artist to bring. Once we lock in a venue, we lock in an artist, then we start getting a media team to create all the promotional assets. Then we need a marketing team to create all the promotional assets.
That was one of my questions, how big of a team is going in there?
Well, for this show, we had 36 people that worked into the whole show. And that excludes the engineers that we contracted to set up the production. We designed the production, we had to engineer it with ESS, TMS, other local production companies, because we also did a very unique show for Omaha, Nebraska. That's kind of like a different thing. You know, for us was a big achievement. If we would be like in a different scale in Chicago or in New York, probably this would be like a regular show. Nobody would be super stressed about it, you know. But for us here, we did a show, a local show in a venue. It's an old Sokol Auditorium. It's the New Admiral. And we brought production that nobody ever did a big show in terms of production in the history of the venue. So it was a challenge for us, it was a challenge for the production companies, and it was a challenge for the venue to make sure that the infrastructure and the electricity and everything holds.
Yeah, because you got a big setup. Like, you got a whole rig with
it's all rig and
smoke.
It gets really complicated because we had an elevated stage that was hooked on the ceiling, that was raising up, was going down. Then we have lasers that you cannot point in the human eye. People come to a show, nobody understands how dangerous lasers are. A 5-watt laser at any concert, if it goes in your eyes for like 6 seconds, and it's difficult for the laser beam to stay straight in your eyes for 6 seconds because you're jumping at the concert. But let's say hypothetically, the light gets stuck, you are stuck in the position. In 6 seconds, you start getting colorblind. In 15 seconds, your eye is completely blind on a 10-watt laser that points into your eyes. So those lasers are extremely dangerous. Now, the way we work with them, we engineer them to shoot on a dead ending. So like straight into the wall, and it has to be somewhere around 9 feet above the hand. So in case someone else goes on another person on top, the laser doesn't touch their eye, you know, so it has to be clearance for 2 people. And then once you have moving parts, that laser needs to adjust so it always points at the dead end, because we also have balcony. So it's like extremely complicated.
Is it insurance that's tied to that? Because I know like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause I have dreams of like I want to build an amusement park at some point. Like that's one of my dreams. But the biggest thing with that I've been like doing research on, the insurance on that is insane. It's like $100 million worth of just insurance.
Yeah. You need extreme insurance, and then it takes 9 months of training, of testing that you need to pass to get the lasers, because it's illegal to sell this type of lasers to someone else. So if I obtain the lasers, it's illegal to sell it to someone else. Yeah. And there's a lot of FDA legalities that we had to go through to obtain the lasers. Yeah. And then we have to apply for the certain venue with a plan. And that's 3 months in advance. The plan was submitted to the FDA saying, this is how we're gonna run the lasers. We have emergency buttons, so if the engineer sees the laser in someone's eye, they can shut them off instantly. Yeah. If they don't shut them off instantly, they have a key behind the stage that the engineer on the stage is gonna turn them off. So it's really a lot of planning for us to do it. Yeah. Now, to go back to your point, which I really love, we had a lot going on for 4 months to throw this show. But we also had 5 DJs performing. The 5 DJs that performed had zero stress. They DJ'd 40-50 minutes music of someone else's music. They entertained the crowd that was there decently. They made $50 or $100 for their performance, and that was it. They had limited production, limited sound, so there wasn't much in for them except content that they can take for the show. You know, now if they would have been artists, they would have to program lights, program show, come with the light guy, and do a lot more. You know, so it's kind of like, I guess the industry changes. You know.
So speaking of music and artistry and being an independent artist, Jawuan, how do you feel about if a DJ plays your music? Should you get some type of royalties from that? Or is it more like he putting you on?
To me, that's like the foundation of hip hop. Like getting a DJ to play your music. Like
to free advertising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want as many DJs to play it. I prefer you hit me up when you do it. Be like, show me the crowd. Show me the crowd was turned up. But every DJ in the world could play my song and not pay me for it, and I would be completely content with it.
Yeah. So he was talking about production. You've been on big productions. Like, what is that like? What is that process like? Because none of us know what it's like to put a movie on. Like,
what is that? How do you do
sometimes
that?
That takes years.
Okay.
Like I know you said Gemini Man took 20-some years.
25 years to make Gemini Man.
That's crazy.
To get it made. It wasn't shooting for 25 years, but it took that long because all your pieces and parts got to do that. Mm-hmm. And then you can have actors and you can have people, and then the money falls off. Boom. And you can have your money, and you can have the studio, and then you can have actors' schedules don't match up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, Denzel, we waited too long.
Yeah.
We can't get him now.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Randy. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But fortunately, as far as this side of it, the production side of it, as an actor, I don't have to deal with any of that. But as a good actor, before I even set foot in Hollywood, I took a production class here in Omaha before I left for college because I wanted to know what happened behind the scenes. There was no doubt that I was going to be successful in Hollywood. There was just no doubt. So I was like, let me learn as much as I can about what they do, because that'll make me be better in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So when I'm there, and and we shoot a scene, and they say, "All right, cut, check the gate, Randy, we're good for the next. You good for the next hour? You can go chill in the trailer or your dressing room, whatever." I go, "Cool, thanks." I will walk right around and sit right behind the director and the producers every time, because I wanted to watch why they chose that shot, why a dirty 2, why a close up on you. Why not an extreme close-up because the scene is deep? Or why, what are they saying? What is the lingo between the director and the producers? What are they talking about? all those little things. Why is that lighting guy moving those lights when I was just in that same spot? Well, I'm darker skinned than he is. He's darker than me. Lighting has to be different. All those minute things come into play. So I get what you're talking about the production. And when the production is high level of production, you charge more. The money comes in, you know. But sitting behind, like the first time I ever directed, I'm sitting doing a show in like 2004 called Abby. It was a CBS show. And I was sitting behind the director, and I have this problem where I don't really pay attention to what's coming out of my mouth or the look on my face when I'm focused. So I'm just watching, and the director, who's sitting in front of me, and producers on the side, and they're blocking out the scene, got the actors going here and there, and I went, ugh, that ain't gonna work. And the producer looked at me, and I looked over, and I went, what? And they kept going, and then he did another move with them, and I went, come on, man. Director looked back at me, I went, what? I didn't realize I was talking out loud, right?
Yeah.
So then they ran it, and it was clunky. And the director goes, I don't like it. And I went, obvious. Then he turned around, he looked at me, he went, Randy, you want to block this scene? I said, absolutely. I see what you're trying to do. So I start breaking down the scene. And I said, you're trying to do this dance and blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, Kadeem, what I need you to do, because it was Kadeem Hardison, come in the door, blah, blah, get Sydney, and blah, 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 blah. We go through this whole thing. And the director sat there for a second, and he went, did y'all hear what he said? Okay, let's try that. So they ran it, and it came out beautiful. And then he turned around and he said, you want to direct this scene? I was like, absolutely, man. I was on it. Just jumped up there and got into it.
And that's the part that separates the GOATs, people that really do it, from the people who just jumping into it, because you can't understand something that you're really involved in without understanding the side that you might never even, exercise.
And that's the key to ownership. Like, that's one thing, especially with my team. Like, I've been trying to get empathy, like learn, like, okay, what is Ryan, like, what is it really like to edit? Like, what is it really like to edit those photos that Byron is doing? Even I'm nowhere close to being the best person on my team at nothing that we do. But I have tried to learn what they do. That way, it's like, okay, bro, I know how long it takes to edit something, so I'm gonna give you 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however long that takes. That way, I'm not down your throat. Like, most people, like, hey, bro, can you have this done tomorrow? Like, no, I can't have this done tomorrow. So I
get it, man.
Yeah, I just think it's about having empathy, understanding your team, and understanding the people around you. That way, when stuff happens, because we all make mistakes, we all fuck up. It's just like, okay, what am I gonna do when that does happen, and then how am I gonna react to them when they do? So
it makes for more effective sessions too. Like you were saying, you know what to tell the director in a certain way. It's not you guessing. It's not you going off a feeling. I can tell the engineer, I don't have to say this vocal sound boxy. I can say cut this EQ around 500 frequency because of, you know what I'm saying. And a lot of people don't even get that involved into it to be able to go that deep into it. And it's a distinction in the quality of their content.
As an independent artist, and then I also wanted to help other people that are local artists, and I learned a little bit about branding, about building a website, having social media, having the same profile picture on all social media so people kind of recognize you when they're searching for you, building a Spotify bio and all that stuff, making a Wikipedia page, trademarking your name. These are a couple things that an artist doesn't have that much common knowledge or doesn't really want to do it. They want to focus on the art.
You went from an artist to a company.
Yeah.
You went from And I think that's where a lot of brains are starting to switch, especially what I'm seeing in our generation, is that it's going from, oh, I don't just got to be a rapper. I don't just got to be a DJ. I can own a DJ company. I can own a record label.
You have to.
You
have to. If you really want to be successful today, you can't just be one thing.
One thing, that's
like you're just talking about. You have more value being a safety,
right,
and
a corner.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shout out to Edmonton, y'all let me play corner. I appreciate that. I still using that tape.
I just think what worries a lot of independent artists is the consistent cycle that we see. The rapper signs, any artist signs, they happy with the label, everything's good. In a couple months, project go by and they mad. Let me out, free me out of the country. It always comes in this cycle. No matter whether they sign into their favorite rapper or they sign into Universal or a major label.
Yeah.
I think that's what. But also at the same time, I look at some of the top 3 performers in hip hop for the past 10 years, like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, and they always sign to a label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there has to be some benefit.
Yeah. I think it's about spins. It's about spin, and like what I think people don't understand about Drake. Drake got the best team. People can say what he want to. Bro's team is immaculate from video.
He just got a $500 million.
Yeah, he got a crazy team. Like he has somebody that's in every single space, and he can talk to those people in that space. He can get those ideas that he want and get them exactly how he wanted. Like dude did a shoot at the Nike headquarters. I don't think no other artist has done that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he took networking to another level. He took producing to another level.
Yeah.
So dude's team is great, and I think people try to get on to him. It's like, oh, he ain't writing everything. Bro, when you get to that point,
it's the leverage.
It's the leverage.
Yeah.
He can do whatever. He can do EDM. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, totally.
Right to that point.
Totally agree with that.
I mean, there are purists out there, and that's what they get into. Well, he ain't right, but he making more than you because he's got an entire production versus
he created an experience with people.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a different world.
Yeah. So let's get on the topic of betting on yourself, because obviously this is what we decided to call it, and I think the reason why we named it that is because everybody in any walk of life can attain to that or speak to that okay, it was looking like this, it was bad off, but you know what, I'm gonna stick to it. This dream that I wanted, it ain't come how I thought it was gonna come. It took 5-6 years, but you know what, I'm finna still keep doing it. So like Jawuan, we from the same city. Like most people don't get to see some stuff outside of Shreveport. Most people don't even get on a plane for real, because our airport's so small and it costs $600 to fly out. Yeah. So let's talk about like how you bet on yourself and where you at right now.
Well, for me specifically, it's harder to explain not being from Shreveport, but you are aware of how my sound versus the sound that bubbles up in Shreveport. Like I hear y'all talk about all these big productions and places that you be like, man, the place holds this many people. How many people can we fit in there? They call you 1 week, 2 weeks before your show. They want you to perform for me, and they like, can you perform? And they barely even got stages. The only places to perform in Shreveport are clubs. So for artists like me who don't make club music, it's like you gotta find a way to stand out. So my version of betting on myself was early on I started taking speakers around and just random places around the city, and I pop up, do a concert there. I hear about an event that's going on in the city. I do it there, because to me it was never about it wasn't important to me to get in the clubs. It was important to me to get in front of people, and that's what for me is independence being all about. Like I was explaining, not waiting on the club promoter to one day realize that I should have him in this club, because I know plenty of people who don't make club music who can get played in the club. When Chance made No Problems, it's not a club song, but when it came out, it's on spin all the time. So I just got to make the people in the club ask for the DJ for the music. So when the club is performing, I'm outside of the club, doing stuff like that. So that was my bet on myself. I feel like no matter what venue or type of place it was, all I needed was a mic and my little speaker, and I could, make something shake.
Yeah, fact. Well, Randy, what would you say?
How did you bet on yourself? Because you've been betting for yourself for like 25 years with the movie, first of all.
Dude, I was 8 years old here in Omaha, and there's a lot of famous Nebraskans. A lot.
Yeah.
Huge actors from here, going all the way back to Fred Astaire and Nick Nolte, Marlon Brando, Academy Award winners. We got directors from here that have won Oscars and Emmys. The show The Blacklist. Have y'all seen The Blacklist?
Yeah.
The Blacklist was created by my friend John Bokenkamp, who lives in Kearney,
Man,
2.5 hours from here.
I didn't even know that.
Exactly.
I know that.
Who saw Avatar,
Yeah.
Schindler's List,
Yep.
The Equalizer,
Yep.
Training Day with Denzel.
All Nebraskans.
The cinematographer from that show won the Oscar for Avatar. You know where he lives? 15 minutes from where we're sitting.
That's crazy.
Right here in Omaha. People don't know that.
Yeah.
But all of these famous people never came back. So when I was 8 and I knew this was what I wanted to do, and I'm going, who can show me how to do this? And my parents are like, you can't be an actor.
Yeah.
It's not a viable career. You have to, Hollywood is way out there. You're in Nebraska. That's not gonna work.
Right.
So as I grew up, man, doing plays in school and things like that, I just kept sneaking off and doing talent shows, plays. Went down to Lincoln for architecture because my parents did not believe that acting was going to work. What was I doing? Sneaking off and doing plays and musicals. And I was in a fraternity that was about the arts. So I go into the military. The job that I was in the military, I shouldn't be out in the public showing my face, but I was sneaking off and doing stand-up comedy, doing plays.
Yeah.
And then finally I said, you know what, I'm a grown man. It's time for me to hit Hollywood. It's time for me to go. So I went to Chicago first. I was doing stand-up comedy and doing plays and commercials. And then I said, you know what, it's LA time. And I knew nobody. I knew no one in LA.
Okay, so that might be personal, but I really want to know. So what did you actually do? You booked a flight to LA. Did you have money to live in LA? Or because LA would be more expensive than here?
$8,000
Okay.
to get to LA, so that I could, when I was there, I had money to live on for a while. Well, I didn't realize how expensive LA was. $8,000 went in 2 months.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
say,
gone.
Yeah.
So there's a dude named Christophe St. John. He passed away a couple years ago. He played Neil on The Young and the Restless. We met in Chicago, and he said, man, I know you coming to LA because you're talented, dude. You're funny. He said, so when you do, call me. I stayed with him for my first year.
I see.
Yeah, and then I got a job at the Warner Center Marriott in room service, but I'm not good at working for people. So I ended up running the room service.
Yeah.
And then a security job, just some friends. We used to play pool at the Hollywood Athletic Club. This is where I'm starting to meet Wesley Snipes and Keanu Reeves and all these cats coming through. And we would play pool before any of us really blew up.
Right.
And dudes asked me if I wanted to work security with them. I was like, yeah. Next you know, I ended up running it and then owning it. But while I'm doing this, I'm meeting all these people and still auditioning. And next you know, man, I book American History X, which was my first movie. And then I book a TV series right after that that didn't get picked up. And then I book another one right away within 2 years of being in LA. And next you know, I'm on Showtime on a series as the first black NASCAR driver. It just took off from there.
So you left some out because I sat with you.
What I leave out? Oh, well, okay. I mean,
you gotta tell that story.
You're asking about but that's just deep stuff in there. Okay,
you gotta tell that story.
This was a defining moment. This is one of those moments.
That moment.
Okay, we talked about this a little while ago.
Yeah.
I had a little Fiat Spider, which is a tiny Italian car. If you don't know, I'm 6'2" and I'm not the smallest dude. If anyone my age remembers a show called this character called Grape Ape back in the day, and he was this giant gorilla that drove this little van. And that's what I look like in this car. And when the top was down, my head still was over, so I couldn't even wear baseball caps because it was okay. In the wintertime in LA, people don't realize it gets cold. It gets down to 30.
Right.
It gets cold at night, and it rains a lot during the winter months. So I was actually homeless at this time for about 6 months. I had my little car. This is when I moved out from Christoph because this girl moved in, and it was just a mess. So I act like I had a place, man. But I couldn't. I wasn't going back home. So I'm sleeping in my car. There's no back seat, jump seat. All my clothes are back there. So I literally have to sleep like this every night.
Dang.
I'm still going and doing security, making enough money to do headshots and things like that, but I couldn't afford a place. So I'm sitting in my car. This was every night. And when it was nice enough, I could sleep on a park bench.
Yeah.
When it was nice enough. Because back then, you could sleep in a park without getting murdered.
Yeah.
This was in the midnight.
Yeah.
So, but this particular night, man, it was one of those times where you're doing everything you can. And you don't know what else to do. You're like, I'm doing everything. God, I'm doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when is this going to break? And man, it was raining that night. And my top would leak when it rained. And I don't have much room to move. All my clothes are over here and in the back, so I can't lay in that seat and lay it back. And the rain was dripping, just dripping. And I couldn't shift enough that it wouldn't hit my leg. So I couldn't fall asleep. And it was just hitting my leg, man. I just sat there. And I'm just staring out the window at this rain. And I just started shaking my head, and I was like, and I came to tears. And I was like, what? I'm better than these. I'm better than all these actors out here. I know them. I'm better than them.
That's what kill it when you know.
When you know,
I know you, but
when you know you're built for something, when you know you're good at it, man, I was just sitting there, I'm like, Christoph got a job, he been on the soaps forever. I'm like, man, these dudes over here doing this, and I'm like, I'm better than all these cats. And they're my friends. I ain't not down in what they do. I'm like, Will's good. I know Will Smith since all the way back then, but
he's like, I also deserve.
Yeah. Let me get my spot now.
I'm like,
let me get my shine.
But that also came with, let me finish this, let me get back in it. Because when that was happening, and I don't question God very often, but I questioned him that night, and I was like, why?
What's going on?
What? I had a cell phone back in the day. It was in them big clunky ones. My brother called me from Omaha, and he said, "Man, you know, I was just thinking about you, man. I just wanted to tell you, man, don't give up, man." I said, "Man, I ain't giving up." But he just wanted. He said, "No." He goes, "Think about it, man. He goes, think about Denzel. Think about all these other people. Mel, every single one of them had to go through some hard stuff." He goes, nobody that's really famous as an actor, who's really making an impact, they went through something. He goes, man, we joke and we clown because you're our brother and our friends joke and stuff. He said, man, but you good, dude. He said, you got it. You got that thing that none of us have. You got that thing. And man, I sat there in the car and I went, we got off the phone, and I just cried. I was like, I said, but I ain't giving up. I said, I ain't giving up. I said, for whatever reason you got me in this car.
I do from Romania. You from Romania, so how you go from Romania to Omaha?
Yeah, DJ Romaine.
No, man, I want to stay here forever, bro. I want to stay in this circle of conversation for 5 hours because this is just motivating for me, you know? And the catch is that when I came to United States, I came to United States as a 16-year-old, and it was a little bit crazy because I had to drop high school in Romania. So the standard mentality is finish high school, go to college, get some scholarship for playing tennis, graduate college.
Tennis?
Tennis. I played tennis my whole life. I played tennis since 6-year-old up to 21-year-old every single day, except when I was injured. Except when I was injured. And that was my whole life. Like up to 21-year-old, I didn't experience anything. I didn't know anything. All I knew is wake up, go to practice, you know, clean your apartment where you live, fix your bed, open the windows, clean your shoes. I knew a lot about discipline and stuff, which helped me later on, but I didn't know anything about like real life experience, zero, you know. But at 16-year-old, I decided to move to United States because I played here a tennis tournament in Florida, and back to my home, it's a very negative mentality, and nobody cares. I don't know, like there's hate everywhere, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But like I was the third one in our country at tennis at my age for 7 years, from 9-year-old to 16-year-old. I never beat the first two. I think I lost one time to the fourth one. So everybody knew, okay, this guy is there. And everybody you talk with, they're like, oh, no chance. So if you just keep playing this, maybe go to college. I was like, I want to try pro or something, you know. we'll just keep playing. So then I'm like, screw this. I go to United States, play a tennis tournament here with a tourist visa, play a tennis tournament, see that here there's tennis courts everywhere. Like in my country, we have 7 tennis courts. There's 4 in the capital, 1 in my city, and 1 on the other side of the country.
And they all outdoors too, I'm guessing.
Yes, exactly. And you have to pay a lot of money to play tennis an hour for the tennis court. And then it's so crazy that in the winter, if you want some heating or if you want light at night, everything is add-on. So like, you know, so you can't play tennis how you can play here. You know, I came here, I saw, oh, this high school has 8 tennis courts. Oh, this college has 10 tennis courts. And in Florida, where I went first, there's tennis courts everywhere.
And you can just walk up?
Yeah, you can walk up and play. So my first thought when I saw that was, I'll go back home, do whatever I have to do, get back here, grab a tent, put a tent on any tennis court. Hopefully there's some trees somewhere. Sleep, wake up, play tennis. Sleep, wake up, play tennis. If someone wants to play tennis with me, I'll play with them all day. If they want to pay me $20, $40 to get some food, that's good. You know, like give me $20, I'll buy some food, you know. You went with 8,000 to LA, but you already had a career. We came here with 300 I have left after the plane and everything, and a tent. And I was in Bradenton, Florida. I was playing also in Ellenton, a small city, and it was between Sarasota and Tampa.
So you ain't really had no plan.
No, no plan. My only plan was tennis. Become a professional tennis player. If you stay 10 hours on court, you'll be good. You know what I mean? And as you say, a month, 2 months go good. Florida, sunny place is nice. But when it's raining,
Florida
that shit be leaking, bro. And you can't fucking sleep because you are like, what am I gonna like? And you stay there and you're like, you're doing everything you can, you know, and you keep, and you wake up the next day, you keep playing tennis. I guess my story is not really, it's similar a little bit, but obviously you play tennis every day, you get better by just playing it every day, 8 hours, 10 hours, playing with everybody, playing on any court. You get self-discipline. Then at 21-year-old, I decided to quit tennis for good. So it wasn't like that was what I felt I was meant for, but it was the inside motivation to like go through it. And even if the time is hard to keep working was good, you know. And from there, the road was very easy because I have 9 grades, you know. So I went 9 grades, dropped high school in 10th grade, came here, played for 1 year, got really good.
You didn't go back to high school?
No, you can't go back to high school. No, if I would go back to Romania, I would be like 20 or 19 or 17-year-old in 9th grade. They would look weird at you. You know what I mean? They would be like, "What is this dude at 23 in high school?" You know what I mean?
Crazy. So
that's a story.
Yeah.
When we talk about doing whatever it takes, I think we all have that.
Yeah.
That, you know, that it thing, like you said, that thing. It's something in us that makes you different. I think in every human, I think it's just about tapping into it too. I think we all are different. We're all built with something in us. Mentally, that can be challenging. Mentally, that can take a mental toll on you.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people don't talk about. I think a lot of people, like I recently started going to therapy, and like it was things that I had to talk about. It was things that I had to get out that I couldn't necessarily talk with to my mom or couldn't talk with to my girl, but it was things that I had to process through. How have you guys mentally been able to, or what things have you done to be able to help that mental fitness piece? Because that piece is big when you're the guy that everybody's looking at. Yeah, like Jawuan, like
for me now, I just kind of sit in it. Like it's chaos to be in my mind all the time, and I don't. Yeah. I think what keeps me grounded is like outside of that, just my daughter. I don't have anything outside of that just brings me to like not thinking about music and what I need to be thinking about for the future. What's next? Like I'm always in the future in my head, and I feel like it gets stressful, but I like sitting in that feeling. I like being in that emotion. I feel like it comes for good art. And that's the best way to deal with it to me is if I do feel like I'm getting overstimulated by it, it just take a couple conversations with my daughter, and it's just like, this is what I'm doing it for. Like, then it's right back to
Right back to it.
what I need to be doing to take care of her. Like,
But what would you say, Randy? Being an OG in the game.
It's easy for me.
Yeah.
I don't have problems.
You
yeah.
meditating yoga.
I've never had any mental issues whatsoever.
Let's trade.
No, honestly, just being connected to God has always been that's my safe space. That's it. There's nothing See, Hollywood is a nasty place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give some stuff about this, but y'all see what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Hollywood they're not only the perpetrator, but they perpetuate it. They push it.
Yeah,
They push an agenda.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Yeah.
They want you to do stuff to get stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at my boy Will. He's smacking people.
Yeah.
Smacking Chris.
Right.
I wasn't even watching the Oscars, and I got a phone call, and my phone started buzzing. I was working on a script, and I'm like,
They thought it was you.
I'm
They
like,
thought you would have. They're like, man,
no. Then I finally answered one of the calls. I go, hey, what's up? It's my buddy Ponch. He said, man, what did your boy do? I went, who? He said, Will. I go, what Will do? He said, he just slapped Chris.
Man.
I went, for what? He said, man, you ain't watching the Oscars? I said, man, I haven't watched the Oscars in 10 years. It's all rigged.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some stuff for that.
Oh,
But
man.
anyway.
Talk your shit.
Tell the truth.
He said, yeah,
Tell the truth.
Right, yeah. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know?
the truth.
Yeah.
So
Start
I was
taking
like,
the right
and I
thing.
watched it. I pulled up YouTube real quick, and I went,
Yeah.
Will's trying to be.
But what about, do you think it had anything to do with the fact that he's in that light and he doesn't, like, and I don't know, bro, I don't know what he does, but do you think it's because he didn't process through some of those emotions? I think when you are on Front Street, especially when your relationship is on Front Street and your wife, and like people are talking about the things that are going on, they saying you in the entanglement or whatever they call it, like, I feel like that can affect your mental space.
Yeah. Oh,
affect
yes.
your mental space.
One, he's one of the most recognizable faces on the planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Two, what you want people to see versus what people don't see
Right.
can be very taxing
Yeah.
Right.
on your mental stability,
Right.
on your mental health.
That's why you should just be you, like,
Well, that's
be-
hard.
yeah.
That's hard for a lot of people in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
in Hollywood.
It is
a hard space.
It is a terrible game.
Yeah.
It's a terrible game.
That sounds draining.
Yeah, it is draining.
Yeah.
It is draining.
Yeah.
So I'm literally my power source, my connection is I'm always plugged into God. Period.
That's
I
hard.
turn down stuff. I turn down more work than I've gotten, and I've been blessed to work.
Right.
I mean, I've been in the top 1% of working actors for a long time. Yet,
Yeah.
still turning stuff down.
Yeah.
And because I don't have a price,
Right.
they can't get me.
Right.
Right.
If you don't have a price, there's nothing you can do. So, again, I pray about every role that I'm in, every audition I get, even to the point where my manager, I've had 2 managers in 27 years, and I've had 20 agencies. But your manager, they're your people, they're your family.
Yeah.
So they get me, and Gina's like, she'll send me something. I go, nah, I don't want to do it. She goes, I think you should really look at this one. I'm like, Gina, I read it. I'm not. She goes, did you pray about it? I'm like, oh, you think you slick? Okay, all right. But then I go there, and that particular project, God gave me a straight up, you should do this project. And I went, oh,
That's big.
you know. So that's where I am. So it's just, I mean, that's been since I was a kid.
Yeah, but
space.
so then I really wanted to always learn and figure this one out, because I see it in the music industry sometimes becoming a conflict too. So the manager has all interest in pushing more project to you because they get paid more for you, right? Or they get paid the same, or how do you guys deal with
My manager
that?
gets 10% no matter what. My manager guides my career, everything, whether it be film, TV, my directing, my writing. She may come up and say, hey, you know what? I think you should think about getting into stand-up again, because Comedy Central was showing interest. And I'm like, I don't want to do stand-up anymore. I'm an actor. This is what I love. And then the filmmaking and blah, blah, blah. So her hand is in everything I do.
Yeah.
My agents submit me for work, and they want their 10%.
Yeah.
So
And they have
sometimes
a bunch of people.
you can start coming out like 20% sometimes. No. So it'll be 10 to the manager to like if I'm an up and coming actor, what advice would you give to me? Like, do I need to give 10 here and 3 here? Or like, how should that break down?
Agencies are sanctioned. It is law, 10%. Period. Anybody wants to charge you more, walk away. They're not for real. They just want your money. Managers can get you negotiate whatever you want.
Whatever deal.
A real manager says 10%. As a matter of fact, we don't need a contract.
Right.
If you don't believe in what we're doing,
Right.
and anytime you don't feel right about it,
You can leave.
you can break this handshake and walk away. That's a real manager.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
do the
crazy.
handshakes just off of I done got burned by handshakes.
Well, the difference is they can't get any of your money. Everything is for you. You have to pay them. So
Okay.
it is set up with my agencies that any money that comes from any studio, like right now, I'm waiting on several checks. I'm like, where my checks at?
Right.
But I see them first.
Yeah.
I signed
I see.
something so that my agents checks can go and they can pull their 10% and my manager's 10%, and then they email me or they call me and they go, your checks just came in, and then they distribute their 10%, and mine goes straight into my bank account.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are real people out there. 10% should be your thing, right?
Yeah, but for example, let's say I want to have you in a movie, and then I go to the manager and I say I offer $5 million for this role. Let's say $10 million for this role, and then you see the papers. The manager gets 10%, right? So 1 million for the manager, 9 for you.
Now, when you start getting up into multi-millions, there's a cap.
Okay.
But for my manager, if I made $100 million off of a film, I'm giving her 10%.
10%, yeah.
Because she got me, or she helped me get to this
there,
point.
yeah.
Before, like the early stuff in my car and getting these roles and all that, I didn't have a manager.
That was solo dolo.
Some of it was solo, and then a friend of mine who was an exec at 20th Century Fox, he acted as my manager. Look, man, this microphone just keeps falling off. This is what we have to deal with, everybody. There are technical difficulties, so I'm just going to hold this right here for a second. This is, so, yeah.
It was a question.
No, well, I was going. Go ahead, I'll let you go.
I was listening to your story. When you moved to the States, did you have your family? Or you were just by yourself?
No, I haven't seen my family in like, I saw my mom a little bit, but like 7 years I haven't seen my family. No,
How
except
they feel?
my mom.
Do they
Today?
like
7 years?
After the day, after
Wow.
7 years, yeah. I saw my mom last year. She managed to get a visa and come here visit me, but like my father and my brother, I haven't seen them
Since
for
you
7
left.
years. And my mom, I saw her like
But
2
that's
you
weeks.
an
feel about
epitome
you
of
doing
bet on
music?
yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, how they feel about me doing music? When I started, they hated because they invested all their money, work, and
Into
everything they
tennis.
had to tennis.
Yeah.
And then I quit tennis, I quit high school, I quit college. I started doing music.
Yeah.
Right.
All their investment was he's gonna make it a pro tennis player. If he doesn't make it, at least he gets scholarship for college and graduate with a degree.
I wouldn't say that the investment was wasted though. Like you learn valuable,
yeah.
you learn valuable things
Yeah.
that's gonna carry you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like in and I'll say with football, bro. There's things that on that football field, like I'll talk to my girl, like we'll be driving and I'll be like, oh, I see this over here. And it's literally, I feel like it's because I see on the field. You gotta see the whole field.
Yeah.
So she was like, "How did you see that car over there?" 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm running 20
Vision.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
He running 20 miles an hour, and it's going down.
Yeah, wherever we going, we meant to be. Wherever we going, we meant to be. Wherever we
I just
going, we
want to
meant to
thank
be.
y'all for coming, man. I appreciate you, Grig. I appreciate you, Randy. Appreciate you, Jawuan.
I appreciate being here.
Let us out. I need to hear some of that.
Okay. See, this is what I was meant to do. It's different for that which is meant for you. Every cell in my body already knew that they were growing the realest that ever grew. I mean, we're talking the deepest that ever loved. Even deeper than ham and cheese in a sub as you eat a piece on your rug and your mama reach for a hug. You can see she ain't eat enough and her stomach beating up. Those are deep pains. I hope those seasons change, because in the summer it's a hunger game. I made a wide turn like a Hummer when my come up came, but now people want to jump lanes. But we done left off that seasoned pimp sauce that Pimp C left off for MCs like one. You better analyze every vowel spit, Cause we ain't into that talking it out. They talking about this. Baller just like magic, cause I'm looking like the sickest to have it. Got a girl named Rap, and I'm telling you, she's the fattest. And I swear she begged me to grab it. Magnets, fatal attractions, like Titans is clashing. Cause it'll never be the same again when I smash it. So this goes out to every single that's rapping. I'm gonna give her this, and after that you can have it. I'm blowing trees in a hoopty. Dreams of me making it off the scene like a movie. Turn into money and raps that I spend loosely for we to drink in a two-piece. If you don't like the way that I'm living, then sue me. Cause I'm gonna be like this till a casket I find suits me. Just bury me with a loose leaf. I'm gonna make heaven groovy. Cause could you really say that you knew the best till you knew me? So I'ma dance the light like a perv along in the Lucy. Rubbing the booty. Every star can fall from the sky any moment of choosing. And I feel like I'm losing if I didn't rumble the beat the box up like I'm coming to bruise it. It's funny how filling up the box gotta talk about moving. I get the switching subjects, that's part of the schooling. I get the filling up the vans with my dog like I'm Scooby. Facts. I don't know what's left for me to be proven gifted with a rap like party producers. Go argue your tutor. Look, I tell myself to build a brand and go market a movement. Look, I looked at them crazy when they told us that artists are losing. Not when they just started introducing the artists to do it.